Alright, hello and welcome to Frost's new Warframe builds video. So, the Frost builds that I've been using recently have changed. Obviously, as some of you may know, the build I have been known to call Freeze the World does not appear in my previous builds video for Frost. So it's about time to show that stuff off. So, on Frost, Freeze the World is this. This build is for controlling an entire battlefield by freezing all enemies so they cannot fight back or do anything to affect you. The enemies that are dangerous for this build are obviously nullifiers, who are not affected by this until you pop their shield, and Combus and Scrambus, who can prevent you from doing it. Those are to a lesser degree, obviously, as nullifiers are your main target with this build. As such, I would suggest you use a weapon that is good at killing nullifiers should you use this build. But there are also some modifications to this build that I've been known to change pretty frequently. First, for missions where you need to go fast, obviously Frost is regularly quite slow, so you'll want to go fast. Dropping Vitality, throwing Overextended over here, and throwing Firewalker up into the Exilus, or down here, whatever you'd like, will make Frost quite fast, able to keep up with pretty much any frame that's not like a max speed Volt or a Nezha that is purely built for sliding. If it's not those two frames, you'll be able to keep up just fine with this. And that's generally what I use for speed running around in missions. Also, if you want a much longer freeze, you can use Narrow-Minded. This will lower your range by a little bit, but give you a 8-second gain in your freeze time, which is pretty reasonable, and if you want a smaller bubble, also a fair choice. Personally, I like this for general running around. Would probably switch out Vitality for Narrow-Minded in significantly longer runs. And then the other build that I have for Frost is this. So basically this build is just for maximizing the bubble and making as strong a bubble as possible while still keeping myself efficient. That's what it does. This is for defense targets. This build allows you to easily switch to corrosive projection for reducing armor in parties where that is required, and then failing that, you have an extra slot open so you can increase the size of your bubble as needed. Of course, my preferred build is Freeze the World, and that's one we're going to be showing off. This is incredibly effective. And I'll be using the Tonkor. Which, let's show the build for that real quick. As you can plainly see, Tonkor build, very, very much nothing special. This build could be leaps and bounds better, but it's perfectly serviceable for the purpose that we'll be using it here. If I switch to it, my Lex Prime build, this. And if I mess around with them, Prism Dual Cleavers are this, for those interested. Moving on, let's grab some energy. This will not take long. A normal testing level for Warframes and weapons together of 80. And here we go. With this incredible range, all of these enemies are frozen solid. Those enemies are dead. These enemies, of course, are incredibly tough, but that won't matter. Freeze again. Freeze of this quality only costs 25 energy. Very good. Obviously, with a much better Tonkor, this is much more effective. My Tonkor is obviously not what the Tonkor really can be. As you can see, these enemies, they don't really stand much of a chance. Oh, nope, you're hiding here. How'd I miss you? What? Alright, I'll take it. And I believe that should be everyone. Pretty certain. Yep, that appears to be everybody. As you can see, especially in a party. This build provides an incredible amount of control of the enemies around you. Provided you watch out for nullifiers, it's incredibly hard to stop a Frost that's doing this. And I use this build extensively to hunt down the Acolytes, and in the final Endurance run of the Acolytes for the Shadow Debt event. It's incredibly powerful, and I would suggest you try it if you have the mods and Frost. See you guys tomorrow.